market buying, but not a lot of uptick in relation. In my opinion, too slow of a move, but still, it's a 5R if you would have gotten it at the low of that neutral entry. Just not at a point of interest for me.
Starting to hit Tesla again, guys. Holding well below last week's low. Let's see what it does. Continue to watch the bonds. Bonds are below last week's low, but okay. Now we just cracked today's low, newer lows again. No end in sight. If you're short, I'll probably hold into 59.
That was also not a clean signal for me.
Yeah, I didn't get that good of an entry. I got it at 72.50.
Like, if I only traded based on momentum, I could maybe get that, but I'm not doing that. Third monitor, I have the whole other indicator for mean size on the second instance of Sierra. Nice trade.
Yeah, I think this was a.
You got it at 72.52. Nice.
I think the 77 was like the best entry, but you had to really be because it was only like 1 minute to capitalize on that. 2, 3, 4 minutes. But yeah, this could go all the way to 37.25.
37.25. That's what the
Yep.
room was calling, at least.
Which room? This room?
My room. My room.
Mm-hmm. It makes, from an auction market theory, it's almost like the midpoint of last week's range. And if we get a, weekly breakdown, it's a logical target.
Yeah, I'm taking. Well, if it gets there, I'm taking 2 off at 59 first, and then I'll see.
Of course, of course. 59 is a great first target. I have that for a measured move.
And then 25 if I don't get stopped out of profit right now.
I'm kind of kicking myself because I took a really nice winner and I didn't want to give back profit, so I just kind of zoned out. But now it's like an
no.
even better trade. I know it's poor trading. I mean, I technically followed my plan, but gotta know when
there's
to not
nothing
follow
wrong with
plan.
taking a break after you hit a good winner, but
Hmm.
uh-oh. Looks like it's gonna try to stop. Yep. Ah, shit. It came all the way back to stop me. I have 1 left, or 2 left. Yeah, they got me too, Hitman, but it's okay. I was just training level to level for me. I still have 2 more looking for 59 if it gets there. Newer lows for Tesla. Hey man, that's why you gotta trade more than 1 contract, man. 59 filled. Looking for 25 now. Last contract. Bonds making newer lows. Newer lows again for bonds. bad. Oh, that's a crazy spike. Tesla's trying to bottom right now. Holy shit. Hey, Specs, you there?
What's up?
Yeah, this is where I'm expecting us to have that. If we have continuation to the downside, it's between this
Oh,
area, 80
fuck.
something to 87.
I was not expecting this move at all, man. I tip my hat to you, sir. That's how do you know this stuff?
No, it's just a guess.
The speculation.
Yeah, speculation.
I mean, it ran 17 points, but for it to do that, I'm not expecting that.
Oh, but let me see if I can get a retrace on it. Oh no, I missed it. Only missed it. Shit. You're up. How many are you up today?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just up 3.5. That's really all I'm aiming for.
It's good.
Dude, I'm trying to get my journalytics to work with the earn to trade, and it's just not working.
I don't really have too much experience with. I mean, I've used Journalytics, but I don't have enough experience to help you on it.
Back in our jigsaw days, huh?
Yeah. Are you executing on it?
Just
You're not.
executing on Ninja.
Oh,
Ninja, you could, you have Ninja still, right?
I do, but my cousin.
You don't use it? Yeah, they don't have the best technical support, but the one thing I like is they have clean bracket orders, so I'm using those a lot. How about you? How many R are you up today?
3R. Fuck. I closed it too early. I thought I would. I didn't think it was gonna go. I was short at the 80. I am up 3R. Not. I started off really bad today. I guess.
How many
just
trades
straight
did you
up.
take?
3 trades.
3 trades. Shit. Actually, that's pretty reasonable.
Not that great.
How's the evaluation going, by the way, Specs?
Great. I'm up. I'm like doing it with an R of 250 on the 50K account, and I'm up. Let me just pull it up. I'm at. So I need to hit. How much do I need to hit? Why can't I see it? Oh, there it is. So I'm up. I'm at 1,820 profit. So I need to hit 3,000. And it's been. This is my 6th day of the combine, so I'm very close.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Finally getting it funded after all these fucking years of trading unprofitably.
Well, technically, you never really did a combine. Like
Yes,
you did
that's
it
true.
once or something.
No, not even. This is my first real combine. to be
Oh,
honest.
really? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you did one before.
No, I was working with a firm, but like the way the scaling up works at the firm sucks because they're all scalpers, so they expect you to take like 100 trades a day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, this is taking too long. I'm only taking like one or two. I'm just going the earn to trade route. I recommend it. They've been good so far.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
agree.
like Ninja, it's really good.
I've always been a big supporter of these firms. They just get a bad rap because they have to make money, and people are like, oh, they charge me for resets. I'm like, yeah, that's part of their business model.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to hit a reset if you're a profitable trader, you know? Unless if like something horrible happens and like the data goes down and you get filled 50 points away from where you want to get filled.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's good. Imagine in the past, like when there wasn't these combines, how the hell did people get funded? You know?
They didn't.
Then you just needed to find somebody willing to back you.
Yep. And that's good luck doing that.
How many are you up, Risky?
29.
Main account or small account?
You know, like the one your main account, like the 50 to 100 R, or are you up 200 R on the day? How many?
No 200 R.
Yeah, probably.
190. 190.
Yeah, probably. He's just being humble.
I
This
am up with 3 stops. I'm up 13.5 R.
Nice. Short 78, aiming for 59 again.
nice.
Only if we hit it.
It's such a clean trade. A lot of the momentum, call me crazy, seems to have dried up.
Yeah, I agree.
I closed out my full short from 82.50.
Hmm. Risky. How many R do you make? I remember I asked you this in the summer, and you said your answer was like you make 7 to 8 R a week. How many R are you making a week now on average?
Way better.
Yeah, I can see that. If you're making 13 R a day.
It depends also. If I'm like today, I have struggled quite a bit. Like I've had a lot of stop outs, which I don't really like, but it is what it
You
is.
sure you don't like it?
You don't like stop outs, but you like 13R, so like pick your poison.
Thing is that like I almost on the small account, I almost fucking got a full drawdown because of fat fingering size. So that is also a thing. I'm really happy with that last trade though, because that one was with size. That was the reason why I scaled it. 'Cause I didn't like the momentum going basically dry there, and we had price consolidation, which is not a great sign if you want to short. Around 74. I got out 74.50 and I was in 82.50. So
Hmm?
my target was to go for 72.50 for a 5R trade, but didn't happen. And that's based on my average per lot. My R, by the way, it's not because if I would average it only for above XR, then it would not be 13 plus. After that trade, it's an additional like 4. So
Hmm?
You took 2 off here.
Let's find momentum strategies to perform better, or non-momentum strategies.
What are non-momentum strategies?
Like revert, like say you're fading against the trend, that would be a non-momentum. Momentum would be buy high. The markets like today would be momentum trading, but like say you traded, you guys remember last Tuesday, that would be reversal trading. How it was super slow and it just kind of grinded up and you just had to hold for a really long time. That's
No.
reversal trading.
I mean, I only do reversal trading more or less. So
Yo,
Hmm.
same here.
Okay,
I
guess it's
mean,
just
when I see price consolidate, like more or less the entire strategy I'm running is price consolidation with a switch from if it's has been down ticking before and price has been going down with heavy momentum and price goes neutral and uptick also goes neutral or slightly up in that area, that's when I start hitting it for a reversal long, or vice versa for a reversal short. So that's what I'm doing on every setup. It's just finding the areas of interest, because 99% of the time the market is really like range trading in one way or another.
Hmm.
Right here could be a continuation for a short based on price consolidation.
I'm already short though.
Yeah, but it could do that. Depends how heavy they absorb here. My mean size is suggesting that it will puke up, but from right now, because they're not committing to the downside.
I actually agree.
There we go.
That's why
If it does one more squeeze like that, that's fucking disgusting again. That's usually why I trade it as a reverse and like a mean reversion strategy rather than a continuation strategy, because most of the time the continuation pattern like completely fails.
Yeah, you just do the opposite and
Yeah.
nice. Ooh.
Meaning I don't really trade breakouts, I trade like reversals from a breakout position. So basically, like most of the time when you're saying that you want to take a trade, I'm like thinking the inverse. So that's the reason why I'm like sometimes when you say like, oh, this looks like a like great point to like long the high of the day. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there, oh, low volume node, price consolidation, downtick as well. Baby, it can't get any better for a short.
I'm your indicator, huh?
No. It's
Do
not
the
really
opposite of
you,
what
B.
specs.
I
I mean,
mean,
no,
like
it's good because I'm looking at. It means we're looking at the same prices. It's just have different time frames, right? Like I'm running a 5-point stop, and you're running like a 4-tick
8 tick,
stop, 8-tick
8
stop.
tick, 8
8-tick.
tick.
Yeah, like it's
I haven't really gotten any 10 plus R setups today. Like there was one in the pre-market. Problem is I got stopped out on that one, and I got really fucking pissed off. Because I tried going for a long setup at like really early in the morning for me. That one went fine, but then EU session happened and they had a lot of fun. They fucked me up good. And I went long 37, 39, and then got stopped out 37. Because I didn't pay attention and I answered the call and, well, didn't take profit, went into profit, and then didn't take anything off, and momentum shifted and I didn't look at it. Well, when you're being too certain of your strategy working and you're just leaving it alone, you know? Market
Yep.
decides fuck you.
I feel you.
Uh,
I feel
well,
you, man. It's sometimes like that. But hold on, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you guys later, and great trading. Hopefully tomorrow's just as good. Peace
All right,
out.
later, man.
hopefully.
All right, guys. I'm gonna take a break, and I'll be back in about like 45 minutes. I think he was streaming. Risky, if you want to stream, you can stream. Or
I did it earlier, but I can do it again in a bit.
all right, I'm gonna take a 30-minute break. I'll be back.
It was a nice fucking trade again. I missed it. Fuck. I mean, I can show you what I'm looking at for the example that I was talking about from before. This is the area of interest where you're really looking at this LVN, and then I'm gonna just take a screenshot and then I'll send it out. I'm just like talking to myself till I make sure to cover all the points in it. So technically that entire area at the top there at 8250s, 8225 to 8250s is basically a signal where it's consolidating price really tightly. The thing is, the volume in the beginning of that area was too high, and I wanted a consolidation. So I wanted the volume to go lower. Hence, I waited for later, and then again, I also waited for a signal from it to turn from blue to gray, which is my transitioning period for this entry. And I wanted to hit it in a specific area. Hence why I waited until it actually reached the top area. So even if it had a slightly uptick in that area, it still was overwhelmingly negative sentiment at that time. Like right now, when we hit the same area like a second time, I'm not even gonna try to hit it again. Like it's not worth it to go after to try and milk the same cow again, so to speak, because it's not really like it could be profitable. Problem is that like once we hit levels like this over and over and over and over and over again, sooner or later they will break. Better to watch for the risky signal? What do you mean? I just prefer having it surmised in 5-minute periods, Anthony. What do you mean, my screenshot? I don't get it. It's not my strategy, really, but... Funny thing is, we actually had a signal going into the area which I wanted to go long from before, but the problem is we kind of flushed through it and flushed all the way to 52s, which wasn't my ideal area to hit it. What do you mean the gray? Which part of the gray? When it colors the bars? The bars, when it goes gray, it's basically transitioning, so it's a signal that it's like delta, like uptick, downtick is going neutral. Basically, that's what it's signaling. Hence, I have it red, gray, and blue. So I know that if it's in a gray area, it's an unclear signal, and you need context to hit it. If it's red and you have this signal, that's an area where you want to hit it, but you might not. Like, let's say you want to go long for a reversal. Technically, you want the uptick to support you, so we want it to be blue. And at the same time, you want to have means order size not hitting the bid, as in they're not selling into the bid above a certain size, to have the capacity to get filled and not be slipped. Because if you get stopped, there's a possibility that you're wrong and you hit, and then all of a sudden, the next 2 seconds after you've hit, the market conditions shift and you instantly get stop run. Here it's like I'm gonna show a situation where it did where it's kind of a continuation instead of going short for it, because the uptick is kind of showing this, but the bottom graphs, basically the one on the top is the one that's coloring the actual graph. The one on the And then you have bid ask, and then you have volume. Volume you just have because you want to see the average volume during a certain period of time. You want as little participation as possible when you actually want to hit it for a reversal. Because any low or top that is a strong low usually has lower volume present. And you want to be part of that lower volume with as large size as you possibly can get. Meaning that most likely you're the only person that's participating that's large in that area. That's the idea, at least. Because you want to not fight with other people at high volume areas. So the area here at 80 is really not suitable to fight if you, so to speak.
Risky, are you saying that because you go in with a larger size, or are you also just saying that in general?
In general, with the strategy, because like I want to limit it. That's the whole reason why I'm not sharing the indicators or the built indicators, because they. Oh, I mean, you could technically make them yourself, but I mean, I'm not really sharing the full setup how to do it. And it's a decision by both numbers and me not to share all the details because we want to see where we can like the max lot size we can get filled with for full fills. And if everybody else in the room starts doing it as well, because we're already having partial fills on the area, then we're gonna compete for all the fills, and that's a problem for us. So hence, because the areas we're really interested in getting filled on are usually low volume, meaning that if you're trying to get filled with 500 lots, for example, then if there's maybe 3,000 lots trading in the general vicinity within 6 ticks of that area, then you are going to be like the level you're trying to get filled, you're going to be the majority of the volume. And hence, it's really not bad. Really a bad idea to have everybody else in the entire room trying to do the exact same thing, even if they're trading with 2 lots at a time. Because 2 times 20 or 30 people, it's gonna get fucking cluttered, and our fills are gonna be even worse than before. Hence, I'm not really sharing all the details. And I'm not sharing it before the area is filled. Because I'm giving away my profitability more or less in that case.
I mean, this is your edge. That's understandable.
Hence, I'm not sharing all of it. And I have selectively chosen not to have everything on the graph when I show it. No, but if you're trying to fill like 500 lots on ES, as in like mere numbers trying to fill 500, me and numbers might be individually trying to get 200 lots on each at a time. If we have really high, 500 ES, not MES. That's where we think that the size is limited. Like when you reach 500. So
you guys are stress testing it too at the same time?
Yeah. Because we want to see, we're comparing our fills and how we're filling because we're usually trading the same area.
Right.
And since he's trading pretty much 24/7, the thing is he's trading other assets as well. I'm only trading ES at the moment. Like I'm not trading crude, I'm not trading anything other than ES.
Right.
So
how are you getting these fills in the overnight session? Are you
overnight
lowering your
session,
size?
I'm getting partial fills most of the time. So, like, one of the trades I tried to getting filled, like, I tried getting filled for 100 lots in the overnight session. It's like I sat there and it took me roughly 2 minutes to get filled for 49 lots at an area because I didn't show my
Yeah.
size.
Right.
So I just canceled the rest of the order and then let it go. So I just said,
Yeah.
fuck it. Because I don't want to... like, if I all of a sudden show that there's 100 lots on the bid
Yeah,
that
you'll
wants
get
to get
flagged.
filled,
Mhm.
like, people will instantly fucking clap that area.
Yep.
So, hence the reason we don't want to really show our orders before we actually execute them.
Yep.
And it would be only in our interest to... I mean, it would actually never be in our interest to show our hand. Like, actually never. So the people who showed that they're like 500 lots on bid or ask, it's kind of retarded. Like,
It's
sometimes I get it.
stupid. Well,
So
I think they're playing games too when they do that, like when they flash really big orders or they know that they're gonna get filled. Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
There's something else going on there when they're showing their hand like that.
Like that Indian guy.
Because they get filled instantly a lot of the times.
I mean, thing is that it's a problem in general, like trying to get filled on most occasions. So I don't really know how to explain it in a good way.
Well, I think because, well, you are trading with trading technologies now, but I think like
Yeah.
if you have a retail order coming through, you're obviously going to be screwed. So that's different. But like I feel like some of these institutional players, they obviously trade at very specific prices and it's determined beforehand, right? Like you see a lot of the wash trades going on back and forth, and sometimes they'll go back to that level, trade it again until they've cleared out their inventory. So that's more of like a
I mean,
predetermined.
I wouldn't say like wash trading. What I mean, wash trading is not necessarily that they're triggering algos, like the whole perspective that Fat Cat has.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. Like, there's a reason for large traders to like kind of push and pull the market around. Either they're not getting the ideal fill because they're not finding the other large part to trade with, so they're
Right.
getting slippage in an area they're expecting to have no slippage in, meaning they're hitting market orders in an area where they're expecting like a counterparty to meet them.
Yeah.
And when that counterparty starts hitting as well, then you see the market going like up and down, 6 ticks back and forth for like instantly, like 6 ticks up, 6 ticks down, 6 ticks up, 6 ticks down. It's retarded. It looks absolutely retarded. But if you're looking at the average fill or the mean size during that time, it's quite large for the orders that are hitting, and that's how they actually reveal it to them, to the other participant, is because they're showing the order size by order ID. So basically, they have split up their order into several other orders, but the order ID is the same, meaning that if there's
Right.
someone who is tracking this, they can see that and they can hit at the same time, meaning that they will have an average price around that area, which they get filled for, which is useful considering the ES is a lot more illiquid than it was before in terms of slipping. Because usually, like before, there was 3 ticks maybe that you needed to get filled on. Now it's like 6 to 8 maybe. So they're expecting more slippage. Hence, there's less market making as well. I mean, everyone adjusts because nobody wants to lose money. The market makers doesn't want to lose money. The large traders that trade with each other, I mean, sure, they use like retail orders to get some partial fills, but there's not a lot of the size. I think like maybe 12% of the total size they get filled from retail orders. The rest is another large trader that trades against them or takes the
Right.
opposite
Right.
end.
Yeah.
Hence, it's really difficult to say. And like the main reason we're actually able to make money in futures is because of like commercial hedgers, to be honest. Because the remaining money is just being outflows from the futures market. Because the commercial hedgers are like 90% of the market. But
What do you mean by commercial hedgers?
portfolio managers that, like, let's say that you have a certain requirement to have, let's say you want exposure of SP 500 and you don't believe you can get a fill on SPY for a certain size, then you rather get filled for on the futures at an equivalent price level. So
Oh, I see. Yeah.
so basically, like, if they need to, let's say they the markets gap down and their pricing model requires them to be allocated a certain amount. So they might have a cash pile, but they need to invest it. Meaning that at some levels, you can see like a specific level where there's an iceberg for like 5,000 or 6,000 lots or even 8,000 lots, especially in the middle of a gap. When you see that, that's a commercial hedger, which hedges a portfolio or a group of portfolios. And then they just get the fill for that entire size that they require, which
Right.
is maybe it offsets like 5% of their portfolio or 10%. It's not usually a lot, but considering the size that they're putting on, like 8,000 lots in some cases, it's a fuckload of money that they're offsetting. So when they de-hedge, even if it's a loss, like someone is taking that money, and usually that's everybody that's actually trades the futures to take profits out of it and not to hedge, like to speculate more or less.
Yep. Makes sense. Thanks.
It's no problem. Because we noticed, like, I noticed a pattern of like where usually commercial hedgers are really wrong, but they make up the profit in their underlying portfolio.
Right. Yeah, because it's just
So
insurance against the
yeah,
short.
exactly. So they don't really care about
Yeah, they
taking
don't care.
the L, but they provide a lot of liquidity and a lot of money to the market by doing so.
Yeah.
Which is really useful for us because we can continue with our fuckery of trading volume profiles and whatever else we're trading.
Exactly.
But it's funny to like think about it in that way. Like, really, we're stealing a little bit of money from someone's portfolio that has, I don't know, like shitloads of money. If you're thinking 8,000 contracts nominal value, that's a lot of money. Just say 8,000 contracts at 37.80 times a $50. That's
Right.
a notional value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $1.512 billion
Mm.
for 8,000 lots. So, and they only have to put up 5% of that capital that way with
I
the
know.
futures in comparison to if they are doing it with SPY, where they actually have to buy for the. I
The
mean,
whole
they
thing.
can
Yeah.
use leverage, so they can maybe get like 50% leverage.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, not
they
even
do obviously use
50%
it,
margin, but that's
But
like
I think
nowhere.
it's like what you're saying. If they can't get it on SPY, they'll go to the futures. So
I
it's
mean,
like
the
a
futures are
trade-off.
really liquid. The futures are really liquid if you're thinking about it. Like they're
Mhm.
not getting a lot of, like, let's say they want a fixed price, they will just iceberg there and they will get a fill because the market is so large that 8,000 lots. Sure, it takes a while for them to get the fill,
Yeah,
but
they get it.
they
Yeah.
can get it. And that's the reason why they're not like really showing it off on the bid or the ask, because why would they need to? Like, when people are actually like trying to trade into a level there, you'll see that there's an iceberg because it's immovable. So they will just continually hit that area, and it serves two purposes. Like, either people get out or people get into a trade at that point. So it doesn't really matter. And I'm not seeing anything. I'm just seeing a continuation trend to the upside right now. There's nothing here otherwise. MBO is full of shit, Piotr. That's probably the most useless piece of technology there ever existed. Because MBOs, like, more or less, it says that it suggests that the large traders put their size on server side, while they really have co-location, meaning that they have a server right next to CME's exchange with the orders on client side. And as soon as the criteria for their entry is filled, it will immediately send the order to the exchange, meaning that you can't ever see them in the MBO until after their orders are executed. So MBO data is basically a load of horseshit, because all the large traders that don't want to be seen will never be seen on the MBO, because they're off exchange until certain criteria is met. Me and Numbers had a laugh about that the other week. It's like the same thing as using Fibonacci levels to trade off of. Like, to use, like, you can use it as a like Fibonacci levels as a risk management tool, but that's it. Like, there's no magical way of saying that it's gonna go to 1.6 something R, but yeah. That's the whole reason why I don't hold, like, when I'm holding this size, I don't usually go for larger size than. Funny thing is, we had like a slight signal there, but it's a high volume node. I'm not hitting on an edge of a high volume node at 91. Like, that's not gonna happen. I think I'm gonna call it a day. Pretty happy with my performance so far.
Yeah, I got my trades in. I don't feel like trading the rest of this action. It's like not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just consolidating around the point of control. I mean, it makes sense for it to be kind of a range-bound day today because we had a breakout on Friday. The ranges today, maybe range tomorrow or breakout tomorrow. How many points do I aim for in a day? I don't aim for points. I just, if I have a good entry, I look at the chart to see where a good exit would be. Sometimes it's to VWAP, sometimes it's to point of control, or sometimes it's to a level. So today I took a long the bottom, but I got out around, I think somewhere in the 72 or 76. So if that's like my level, I also watch for price to kind of lose momentum. So even if it doesn't get to my level, but it's losing momentum, I'll just exit the trade because at that point, it could go to my level or it could just reverse. It's a couple of different things. I think in my experience, it's just best to take the money and try to hit every home run. And I'm not practicing, like if I'm scaling, that's a different point. Right now, this month, I'm not practicing, like I'm not scaling. I'm just trying to get entries and very, very tight risk. And my exits are just safe exits. If I were scaling, I would exit there and then hold one, hold, a couple. I don't aim for an R. I don't aim for certain points. I don't aim for. It's whatever the chart gives me, whatever the price action gives me. I try to take advantage of it and try to maximize it. At least that's what I'm trying to focus on now. Because I've just left too much money on the table when I try to get the big runs. I'm not saying I don't get them, like I did get it on Friday, but I just know that it's not going to happen all the time. Especially on a day like today where it's like, you had a big run on Friday, you could have a continuation today, but shouldn't necessarily expect it, right? I think over time, and Risky, you probably would agree to this, it's like you have to trade what's in, like, the opportunity that's in front of you is what you trade, rather than trying to get every move and getting the max of every move, because you do
I mean,
that all.
that's the whole reason for me, like deciding at certain points that maybe I'll take half off at 3R or 4R.
Yeah.
My trade is most of the time my trade target is 10R, but the thing is that my like I have regions of interest that it passes through where I know there is enough volume to get myself out of the trade, and I know that if I happen to only get 3R on the trade, it's no problem. Because everything, like, it might be skewed to count your statistics in this way. Like, sure, it's money in the bag, but if I only get like less than 2R on a trade, I won't count it as even. I will count it as scratch if it's below 2R. Because 4 points in my book or below that is not enough to justify the risk. Because if it would slip against me and if I were to be full size, let's say nobody else wanted to iceberg my stops, meaning that there's no one who's willing to take them on. I could have a slip for at least 2 points, meaning I will have 16 ticks of loss immediately. So that would be the 2R immediately. So anything below that is really not worth noted as a statistically a win. And that's just how I look at it, because it's unrealistic to expect that a 2R strategy to work out in the end. It really is, because your hit rate has to be, like, if you're trading larger size. If you're trading somewhere between 4 and 8 lots, maybe it will work. Like, if you only trade that and never scale up, and I mean ES, the E-mini, not the micro. But yeah. The problem is the same thing. The fat cat size, like, it's also, I think it could cap out around 12 lots, to be honest, because with the book being so thin at the moment, there's no guarantee since he gets his fills on limits. And like, if you're looking at the DOM, it's like 40 lots is the somewhere between
40 to
somewhere
50, sometimes 30s.
Yeah, 40 to 50, and if you see all of a sudden someone adding 12 lots onto the bid or the ask, you're gonna get suspicious. Like, if it stays there. And they might hit it immediately full size, thinking that's an iceberg, meaning that he will instantly slip and get a 12-tick stop. Because they think it's a larger order. Because usually they don't flash with larger size. Most of the professional traders have icebergs, meaning that they will usually just flash two in the queue, 2 lots in the queue, and the rest will be in an iceberg. So it's really difficult. Hence, like, the iceberg indicator on Jigsaw, it's useless as well, because it doesn't show. Like, it only shows if the price stops at the level, and they don't have it specifically at one level. It's an average filling system, meaning that it will slip around. So, like, for example, like, I might want to get filled here at 87.75, but I might accept 89.0 and I might accept 88.50 for a short. But that's just the average of filling yourself in a position. And most professionals use TT, so it's just how it's done. So reading the order flow and expecting it to be perfect based on a DOM is really hard. And that's, I'm not calling looking at the DOM bullshit, but sometimes it's kind of bullshit. Because it might give you false signals in terms of structure. Because you're getting a snapshot based on your view of 20 microseconds. Under those 20 microseconds, there can see a lot of things happening. Yeah, you can, but it requires you to keep track of so much. Yeah, it does. It's, you see the prints, but the thing is that if you're not summarizing it, it's a snapshot, and it might matter for around, like, if you think about it, like, I don't know where you're trading from currently, Balasarius, but if, unless you're literally in Chicago, right next to CME, and your ISP is linked directly to your, and your broker is also having their execution at CME, you will have so much lag that it won't matter. That's the whole premise of why scalping on the DOM is kind of ridiculous if you think about it, especially when liquidity is this low. Because you will not have time to react. No, it's not market making in this case. Like, if you're running 12 tick stops and like someone is really pushing it, it requires on average in the overnight session, it requires 300 lots to move the price 12 ticks. Meaning that if they know, if they see a order being filled for 12 lots and it's not an iceberg, it's one order ID, which they can see, they can immediately identify where your stop is because they know the order ID and how far away it is. Meaning that they will instantly chase you down and stop you out. And it costs them nothing. And then they just reverse and just puke everything out. So I'm just saying that there are so many things a lot of people. Yeah, but it doesn't really, like, like we said earlier, the market is mean reverting, meaning that if it flips and a algo pukes 12 ticks in one direction or 13 ticks, and then your stop ends up moving the market 2 ticks, then they will have 2 ticks of gain that they can instantly fill themselves off of, and other momentum traders will jump into this and get fucked because they will use the liquidity when momentum traders come in. That's usually why when you have a stop run, there's usually a puke where someone just absorbs everything afterwards. And that's just algos or other traders just abusing the fact that they're stops. You can see a practical example if you're looking at it now. The area around 11:26:20 till 11:27:20. After that consolidation to the upside, it puked down, ran stops, and then continued up again. And that's also like, this is during RTH, and you have that puke while people are absorbing. It happens all the time, honestly. But you're not there to speculate in. You can't order ID spoof in this regard. It's the order IDs are actually orders that are filled. So based on when you have a bracket order, your order ID that executed will have a similar order ID in the market on the exchange side. That will be exactly the same order ID as the 12 lots that executed. If you're bought for 12 lots or sold for 12 lots. Meaning that it's really easy to track it. And it doesn't matter if you're running 4 lots or 2 lots, it will show still. Yeah. They have the same order ID, since it's a bracket order that goes in. They will have everything except the last digits the same. I mean, if you don't get them filled, it doesn't matter. It doesn't trigger anything. Because overnight size is around 2 point something volume. Like an average order is somewhere around 2 something lots. So if you have larger than 2 lots or larger than 4 lots, you will trigger the algos immediately. I mean, it's still the same order that's getting filled. I mean, if it gets filled, if you submit 12 lots in one go, and it executes 4, 1, 1, 2 until, or whatever order, until it's filled for 12 lots, it's still 12 lots that is the order ID. The total size for the order is 12 lots. Even if you... I mean, it's not MBO data in this case, Piotr. In that case. You're just looking at the order IDs, because everything is... I mean, they're using MBO data for larger players just to run stops. And that's the whole reason why they have it client-side, Piotr. So they don't get abused by it. Yeah. If you use TT, every single order is a different ID, Belasarius. So if you're every single... You can set it so every single lot has a different ID.
Oh, wow. That's pretty powerful.
And they will split them apart in microseconds. Yeah. I mean, Fat Cat would benefit from it since he doesn't get slippage on... He would get less slippage, and if he uses the average fill, he could size up considerably. If that was the case, if he wants to do that. But...
Well,
I mean, it would be...
trading with that program, you know? You know how he trades with the...
With Jigsaw?
Yeah, what is it called? Auction list or whatever that thing
Yeah.
is? I think because he needs that. His entries, the way it lines up. So that's probably why he hasn't. I mean, I'm just assuming maybe that's why he hasn't transitioned over.
I mean, since he trades 12 lots, I don't know the exact number that the average, like, pit session, like, how many lots is the average order on... For overnight is 4. Yeah. But I don't know what the RTH is. This market is fucking going nowhere fast.
Weird, you mean slow?
That's the exact definition of slow. If you're going nowhere fast, that's very slow. But MBO data is kind of... It only comes to a... Like, it's only useful if you're trying to exploit other people. That's when it becomes useful. Otherwise, it's not useful. But most of the orders that you're interested in using when you're... Like, unless you're losing... Like, explicitly looking for other people's stops to run, and if you have 300 lots to put to actually stop run them, go ahead. Then you can use MBO data to basically just trade overnight session and just hunt stops, because you will find it. Yes, I use TT for the larger account. Because there's no point. And I barely trade in the... I'm gonna swap over, so I'm gonna use AMP for my smaller account and then use my routing through TT. Or just merge the accounts. Why would I use combines on that account? Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I could do that. Probably going to be the likely outcome of merging the accounts. I mean, since it's deducts from... I think I could run two of them on the same... just have different accounts on TT and just pay one sub. Here we go. Fake breakout, maybe. We're having uptick data, at least supporting the move up. And volume spike as well. That one was earlier from 97. It was not from 97.50. Cosmo. Yeah, I delete them because I don't want anybody that's not in this channel to share it. Because it's confidential. Hence, I remove it. But Cosmo, I entered from 96 and got out. Well, 97 to be very specific on that area. And then got out 87 and 77. Average was good. But size could have been better. I didn't get filled on everything I wanted to get filled on. Which is sad, but... The thing is, Jigsaw is just a platform. It's not an execution, and the execution is really... TT is not the platform for... Fuck's sake, it's gotta be faster than that. Yep, Harvey. The problem is that, like, when you're trying to get filled with that many lots, it's quite hard to get the full fill. Especially if you don't want to show your size. So... Then it usually means that there's no traders that are gonna hit in the opposite direction because they don't wanna get slippage, and if that's the case, then it can take quite a while for them to notice you, and then yes, that's also a signal to get in. Honestly, problem is that, like in that instance, RV, if you wanted to get in there, you're really just aiming for a back to the high volume, high value. I can't even speak, to 88.50. You're aiming for maybe short from 93.50 to 88.50. So you're not aiming for a lot. You're aiming for maybe 2.5 R, but the indicator works pretty good like that. You can see, like, after the initial puke up and then it consolidates the price, that's when you want to hit it. Like when you see it start, like the indicator starts slanting downwards, that's when you actually want to hit it. But that's... I think the indicator is working perfectly now, Harvey. Belisarius, no, you can't. You can't replicate it because it doesn't change the orders. Because it doesn't split the orders.
I mean, just for the sake of the discussion here, I'm listening. Like, you're
Mhm.
not gonna split the order when you have 4, 5, 8 contracts, are you? You're talking when you have
I
something
mean,
that's
like if you have 12
significantly
lots,
more than what you have per level on the dome.
no, like if you have the average order, especially in the overnight session, it's around 4 lots. Anything that is more than 2 deviations of that, meaning more than 8 lots, you will have a algo that will detect it, and they will try to stop hunt you. So if you're running 8 tick stop, 12 tick stop, maybe they wouldn't go for you if you're using 4 lots, but they would definitely try. You can bait the algos if you want to. I mean, what would be the benefit of you put of? I mean, the algos have like not unlimited, but I would say enough buying power to buy for 600-700 lots, which is more than a lot of people. So if you're gonna bait them, like they will be sitting and waiting. Like they will move it to try and get a stop run, and then once the stop run is complete, they will liquidate, and then that's it. There's more stops than you being ran at the same time. I don't know how you would calculate it to be efficient, since there's probably other algos trying to exploit other algos. So, I mean, if they see that someone is instantly market selling, and like, let's say you bought, and someone, as soon as they reach the stops, your stops move the market 2 ticks, or they calculate it so they fill on the opposite side of that, off your stop, yeah. And then iceberg the rest to get out of the remaining trade. And you notice that when someone starts iceberging, usually there's a tendency for other traders to push into that level and try and get as much liquidity as possible off of that level. It's just the norm. So if someone used 300 lots to move the market, it might like do a weak bottom or weak high when they have done the stop on someone. It's just an example of how it can happen, where they just absorb the shit out of it at the bottom or top of whatever range you're in.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Does I just look at the chart. Is there anything at 94s? I'm looking through my phone, like,
Mm,
because you can't get through it. Besides the value area high for the day. I don't see.
I need to look at it. It's this area here. What the fuck? How the fuck does always numbers get the good entries? Like, I'm really confused here.
Smells like a short. Looks like a short.
I mean, you should have hit it at the 94th then, to be honest. But right now, I don't know.
No, I'm just
Depends.
VPN my computer. My work watching it.
I'm really confused. How the fuck does he spot these areas of interest, man? Like, I don't get it. Like, I did not really get that signal that he got there. $52. How the fuck?
52.
Like, I don't get it.
It
Yeah,
was
I
the
don't get it.
LVN for the week. The LVN for the week and the value area high for the week. Isn't it? And that's the low for the day.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Apparently, it was for the full session. I need to get better at Sierra, man. Holy fuck. Entire Friday session on the first chart. So that was the Friday session full volume profile for that entire area. Well, anyway, I'm gonna head off. I'm done.
See you, Risky.
Ciao, ciao.
One.
you